Do you ever get confused between anxiety and intuition? Is this a thought that is trying to protect you from something, or is it just a fearful thought that is holding you back from doing something? It can get really confusing. It can be hard sometimes, right? Like, for example, if you are thinking about making a big investment in your business and then you start to feel really anxious about it, maybe I shouldn't do it. Is that simply an anxious thought of fear, or is there something that's coming up because your intuition is like, no, that's not the right thing to do? And you can go back and forth, and there can be this push and pull and this internal struggle with all of that. And I want to share with you a process that has been really helpful. And this is something that I learned from a friend who is a psychologist, and I've kind of used it into incorporating it into my tapping practice when I'm really feeling confused about whether something is anxiety or if it's an intuitive thought. So this is what we do. When you have an intuitive thought, and you know it's an intuitive hit, and you really trust your gut, right? So think of a time where that has happened in your life, where you just know you're supposed to do something or you're not supposed to do something. It is a strong feeling. You're in alignment, and that's just the way that it is, right? We've all had those. So thinking about one of those where you're sure of yourself, you're confident, there's no question, right? You know what you're going to do. Where do you feel that in your body? So just pause for a moment, maybe take a nice deep breath in, close your eyes, and think about where you feel that in your body, when you know, when you're sure, when it feels true. For me, I feel that in my gut. And when I close my eyes and I feel that, it just feels like this sense of calm, the sense of peace. So trying to associate the sensation with it. And then close your eyes, tune into that area of the body where you feel this intuitiveness, and what kind of picture comes to mind. Maybe it's a color, maybe it's an image. Just kind of close your eyes, tune into that area of the body, and what picture comes to mind. So for me, my happy place is the beach, so I just get a vision in my mind of being at the beach and feeling really calm and at ease. Now, if this intuitive part in your body could speak, what would it sound like? So for me, it's a very calming voice, a very soothing, calming voice, right? And taking a nice breath and letting it go. And just sensing into that, right? So the intuitive feeling is calm. I get a picture of the beach, and it feels like a soft, calm voice would be talking. Now, in the same way, when you are feeling really anxious and overwhelmed, where do you feel that in your body? Kind of take a moment there, close your eyes, and once again, tune in. And so for me, I feel that in my chest. When I get anxious, I feel this like tightening in my chest. I almost feel like my shoulders are coming forward as if to protect myself. And again, close your eyes and think of what kind of image comes to mind. And so for me, when I'm thinking about feeling anxious and overwhelmed and stressed, and I close my eyes and I tune into that like tension that I feel in my chest, it reminds me of static that you would see on the TV when you're not actually tuned into the proper channel, right? And that loud like noise. That is what comes to mind for me. And if it was to have a voice, it would be this really fast talking, quick, loud kind of voice, that anxious, chaotic kind of voice, right? And so that's what comes to mind for me. So once you have a clear definition of what intuition feels like in your body and what anxiety feels like, looks like, sounds like All three of those. What does it feel like, look like, and sound like? Then, when you're in that predicament of, I don't know, should I do this? I'm not sure if I'm just being anxious, or I don't know if it's my intuition. Try to get to a place of, okay, I'm going to clear the slate here. I'm going to close my eyes and check in. Maybe you say out loud what the decision is that you're trying to make. Where do I feel that in my body? Do you feel it in your chest, or do you feel it in your stomach? And if there was a voice that was associated with it, is it that, quick speaking, frenetic kind of energy voice of the anxiety, or is it that calm, soothing, this is right voice of the gut? And maybe it's different areas of your body, and maybe there's different visualizations and different sounding voices, right? That is for you to determine. But it is a really, really good practice of helping to determine what's going on. It helps to give me the clarity. And then, if you're still struggling, you can tap on what's coming up, or how maybe part of it feels, a little bit of both, right? And you can tap on how you're feeling torn between the two, and putting the intention of getting clarity around it. So I know this was different than a little normal tapping video, but I feel like this is important, and it can be added on to any of the tapping videos that we have, right? Noticing that connection between the mind and the body, and how we are storing things physically in the body, is really, really important, and it's so helpful. So I encourage you to give this a try. One other option is, if not only what does it sound like, look like, and feel like, if you had to draw a picture of it, right? Maybe if it's not just an image that comes to your mind, but if you had to actually draw a picture of it, what would it look like? That's another thing that I've tried, and for the anxiety, it feels like scribble scrabble, just like crazy lines all over the place. And when I think of what a drawing in my calm, centered gut feels like, it's very specific. It's very straight edges, corners. So I just think of like very specific looking, neat shapes. Another option for you. So I hope that you take this, you make it your own, and I hope that you find it helpful in those situations where you're trying to make a decision. You deserve to listen to yourself. Your body is always trying to speak to you. So find out the best way to communicate with it. And I hope that you share with me how this works for you. And if you need additional support, you want to know how to move forward, what is the next best step for you, please do not hesitate to reach out. I have free consultations. I want to help you. I want to support you however I can. You can contact me at talkwithlauren.com. Talk to you guys later. Have a wonderful day.